Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your friend Tara and Tats, and I'm back with a different kind of video. Oh man, this is something that I just really felt like I needed to talk about this. I just really kind of wanted to get it off my chest. Now, as you know, if you have Netflix, one thing that they do a lot of is they do a lot of documentaries and limited series about true crime cases. They've done the Ted Bundy tapes, they've done Henry Lee Lucas, the Night Stalker, the Unabomber, so on. And that's kind of a big thing on Netflix is they do a lot of true crime series. And I am a true crime fanatic. A lot of that stemmed from the fact that my mother was a big true crime fanatic. I'm not even joking. It's like I wish I could have shown it to you. Unfortunately, it's gone now, but my mother used to have the biggest library of true crime books of anybody I knew. I swear. She read other kinds of books too. It's like, she loved to read and everything. But man, oh man, honestly, I don't know anybody who had a bigger collection of true crime novels than my mother did. And she would watch just about any movie about serial killers and mini series and things like that. If anything on Ted Bundy, anything on Manson, all that kind of stuff, she was really into that kind of thing. But and it kind of rubbed off on me. I don't think I'm as into it as she is. But yeah, I do, and I do admit I have a dark fascination with true crime. And the one that I just watched it on Netflix, and you know, I could say, yeah, I would kind of encourage you to check it out if you're into true crime. But take this with a take this warning. You will feel kind of defeated at the end of watching it. It's really sad. The one I'm talking about is called American Murder: The Family Next Door, and it's about the Chris Watts murders. Chris Watts was married to a woman named was it Shanann, I think that was her name, and they had two daughters, Cece and Bella. They had another child on the way. I think it was going to be a boy, and I think they already had the name. I think it was going to be named Nico. And they were married for a number of years, and man, it really is. It's gut wrenching. It pulls, kind of pulls the rug out from under you. It really does. You know, they were married for many years, and she admitted that and the whole film, it's about 83 minutes in length. The whole thing is pretty much it's rounded up from body cam footage from the police, surveillance footage, photos, text messages, things like this. There's not really like a lot of interviews. Everything comes from all the social media and video footage and everything that was gathered over the time. And it paints a picture of, Shanann. She was, she admitted that she was distant. She kind of, she made him earn it. It's like to get with her, she made him work for her. She wasn't easy or anything like that. But they got married, and she fell deeply in love with him, and she loved him. She wanted him. She was thankful for him. She admitted, she admitted in text messages and things, that she was not perfect. She admitted that she had moments she could be a little bit bossy and stuff like that. But overall, it's like this woman was a very good person, and she really did not deserve to die the way she did. Yeah, I think that was just so tragic. What's even more tragic is, what happened to the kids. You know, they were married, two kids, another on the way. Well, Chris Watts, the husband, he started having an affair with this woman that he worked with named Nicole, and basically what it was a case of, you know, sad old man going through a midlife crisis. He had a wife and kids, didn't really want to deal with that anymore, and found himself a hot young thing that he could get with, that he had a chance with, and he pretty much wanted to be with her, and he just decided he didn't want to be with his family anymore and things like this. And she, that's one thing, if you notice, like this woman took every stride that she could to try to repair, the damage. And she admitted, she was not perfect. She admitted she made mistakes, but nothing worth dying over, certainly nothing worth dying over. And, I just, oh man, she had talked about like she tried to make the effort to, to look good for him. She, where, like to try to entice him to have sex with her and stuff like that. And he didn't really want to. And, he was just, he pretty much, he was done. He was out of it. He was out of the marriage and all that. He was out of the whole situation pretty much. It's like they would go on vacation and she would get on to him. It's like, why don't you call your children? And it's like, if you loved your kids, how come like first thing, you think like, if you really loved your kids, first thing you would do as soon as you wake up, first thing you would do is call and check on your kids, or just say hi to them and all this. Why don't you call your kids and tell them good night, tell them you love them, things like this, and stuff like that. And wow. But he had decided pretty much he was already out of the marriage, and then he ended up, according to his words, at first he tried to put the blame on her for what happened to the kids. See, what ended up happening was they got, she came home. She had taken a couple of days where she went to it was like a kind of like a convention of sorts in Arizona. She was getting, she was doing training and everything else. She was trying to get better. She worked from home. He worked, like on oil rigs and things like this. And, she was taking lessons and everything else about how to do her job better, make more money, be more productive, things like this. Hardly sounds like a woman that was, really, making life horrible for everybody. I mean, trying to advance herself, trying to do better, things like this. And she came home and he had confessed that, he had paid a babysitter. He told her that he was going to a game, if I remember correctly, that he paid a babysitter and, but instead he took his girlfriend Nicole out to a bar and grill that they went to and had a, fancy dinner and all this other kind of stuff. And so he went home and, paid the babysitter, she left and all. And so she came home and he confessed to her that he didn't want to be with her anymore. He didn't want to be in the marriage. He didn't love her anymore, all this other kind of stuff. And, and she was sending him messages, like when I get home, I'm going to show you my appreciation and I'm going to make a nice dinner for you and everything else. And, wow. So when he said this, she pretty much decided, she was done with it and she wanted a divorce and, he wasn't going to get his kids. She was going to take his kids away from her, and he reacted by strangling her to death. And so he decided that he was going to take her, and the kids came in, and from what he said, now remember, this is going from, footage from like the police station and things like this. He took a polygraph test too, and he totally failed it. And they came in, and, the lady who performed the test, she came in, and she's like, boy, did you fail big time, And he finally confessed. But at first he said that she killed the kids and that he ended up killing her out of rage because she killed the kids. But it turns out really what ended up happening was that, he killed her. Then the kids came in and they said, like what happened to mommy? And so what he does is he takes his kids and he puts them in his truck with the mother's body. He's got the mother's body wrapped up in a sheet. So he takes them out to these, large oil tanks in this field. And if I understood correctly, he drowned his kids in these oil tanks. He just basically like wrapped them up in blankets and submerged them, the high oil towers and stuff. They had the thing on top, you open them up and he basically submerged his children into these. Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, what the hell, man? Like, they were just little kids, for God's sake, man. I mean, anyway, so he did that to his kids. He put them in these oil drums, and, I mean, oh, God, could you imagine the suffering those poor kids must have went through? Jesus. And then he buried the wife's body out there in the field, and finally, the truth came out that he pretty much... the truth came out. He admitted he killed his wife and his two little girls. Not to mention the fact his wife was pregnant. So add that on top of it. Oh, man. Then he got life in prison, I forget exactly what they said as far as like the death penalty was concerned. But yeah, life in prison. So holy hell, dude. That flabbergasts me, I'll tell you right now. I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, I admit this definitely left me emotionally drained after I watched this. I mean, for God's sake, dude. I mean, it's like you had a woman who loved you. She was, she admitted she had flaws and she was taking steps to try to make everything better and all that. I mean, like me, my girlfriend and I, we broke up just a couple of weeks ago, and truth be told, probably I could die right now and she probably couldn't even care less, you know. But here was a guy who, he had a beautiful wife. His wife was, she was a beautiful woman. She was a very nice looking woman, a stunningly beautiful woman. She was not ugly in any shape, form, or fashion. She was a very nice looking woman. And two little girls who loved him and, thought the world of him and everything else. And, it's like they thought he was I mean, there's even like video in the car where his daughter is singing a song talking about how she loves her daddy and her daddy is a hero and everything else. And it's like, wow. I mean, just human nature just really baffles you sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, it just really floors me. Oh boy. I'm sorry, everybody. I just kind of had to get that off my chest. It's very compelling, but if you want to watch it, it's on Netflix. But be warned, it's really tragic stuff. It's hard to get through. But like I said, I mean, the man had a wife who loved him and did everything she could to try to please him and make his family life, comfortable and enjoyable and things like this. And, sure, she wasn't perfect, but who the hell is, And over again, like if you watched, she kept messaging all the time, talking about how grateful she was for him and how much she loved him and how much she appreciated everything he did for her. And she, typed about how she was not the easiest person to live with, but he stuck with her and everything else. And it just, wow. If I understood correctly, Nicole, the girl that he was having an affair with, after this whole thing came out and, he was put in prison and stuff like that. If I remember correctly, I think she tried to see if she could start getting like movie and book deals off of it and stuff like that. And that kind of backfired on her. That didn't really pan out the way she thought. She thought she was gonna make some money off this deal, and it turns out, yeah, that pretty much backfired on her. So anyway, sorry folks, but yeah, if you get a chance to watch it, just like I said, I don't get it. You had a beautiful wife who loved you and was taking steps to try to make things better. You had two little daughters who, thought you were just, the sun just rose and set on you and everything else, and just, I don't get it. I really don't get it. So, anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm starting to ramble now. So, but yeah, if you get a chance, go ahead and check it out. American Murder, The Family Next Door. Very dark, very compelling, but that's it. So, anyway, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, go and subscribe to the channel. And definitely got more stuff coming on the way. Looking forward. We got some good stuff coming. Good 4K reviews coming and everything else. So hopefully you guys will stick around for that. Until then, that's it. Take care, boils and ghouls. I'll see you later.